Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Inside Scoop with Alex and Jeff. I'm Alex Dingman.
I'm Jeff Doss. Let's do this, guys.
We are not alone this week. We
right.
have with us the one, the only Chelsey Nash. Chelsey Nash, everybody knows she is a Waka World champion. She has won nearly every major tournament that the world has seen. She's a 5-time diamond ring winner, and not just 5 times in a row.
There we go.
That's right. And I started thinking about that, and I don't know that there's been anybody else who's done that in like forms, weapons, fighting. I don't think anybody's gone 5 in a row before. And now actually, if you think about it, that's actually saying quite a bit, because now you could come runner up in the Greenbelt division, and you might get a ring for that. You could do. No, that's
me. That's me.
That's a bit extreme. I know.
Anyways, welcome Chelsey to the show. Yes.
Thank you. Thanks for having me on.
You're welcome. What's up, Chelsey Lou?
We are really excited that you're here. You were a topic of our conversation a few weeks back, and we really got into it since then. We all had a conversation about you wanting to come on. We just really wanted to get a chance to really hear Chelsey Nash.
Right.
Yeah. Well, I talked to you. Sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead. No. You go for it.
Oh, I was just going to say, I watched it afterwards, and then I kind of reached out to you because, like, it kind of gave me the feels, you know? Like, I haven't been around for a while, and we talked a little bit about that. So, yeah.
That's awesome.
Well, you haven't been around, but you've been, like, on the perimeter, it seems sometimes. Like, you're not in it. You're not in the circle of it. You're on the perimeter. You're on the outskirts of it just a little bit. And am I wrong that you're kind of, like, looking in with, like, one eye and then instead taking a step back? Or tell me how it is. Where are you right now with martial arts?
Like, how real do you want me to get? Because this could be, like, a really long answer.
I love that.
Let's do it.
Yeah? All right.
Yeah.
I might get emotional, too. We'll see. I don't know.
All right.
Yeah.
When I stopped, competing, we had talked about this, Alex, that it sort of just seemed like I stopped. Like, there wasn't really any, like, oh, she's on her way out, or, like, she's going to retire soon, or she's thinking of a career switch, because, like, at that time I really, like, wasn't. And we had talked about it, just sort of, like, stopped, and nobody really knew why. So even for me, like, there really hasn't been any closure on my end either, because I haven't really addressed it. Right. And I'll be honest, it's really emotional. Like, it just got to the point where I was like, I just wasn't having fun anymore, you know? And that's really hard to say and to accept. And I think that's why it took so long. Because, Jeff, you know, like, you were on CJB with my brother way back in the day. Like, Super Grand Savannah, Georgia.
That's right. Yeah, I was going to mention that. We'll talk about that later.
Okay, sounds good. So literally, like, it was my whole life. Like, my brother was already involved in it when I was born. And then, you know, have these shoes to fill, but also somebody to, like, support and encourage, and has been through things, owns this franchise of karate schools. So it, like, literally was my life.
Right.
And then when it started to get to the point where it just wasn't fun for me anymore for a few different reasons, I started, like, searching for ways to make it fun. So WACO, something nobody's actually really mentioned, which was the World Combat Games, which is the Olympic sanctioned tournament. Went to Brazil and Russia. And then the whole, I know it's controversial, but switching from JPM to All-Stars, and then never really competing with All-Stars.
That's right.
You did a couple tournaments with them, though.
Maybe. I think I had like a really bad back once, and I was like, guys, like I'll show up and I'll step in the ring, but like my back is like messed. Like I'm really not going to do anything.
See, I didn't even know any of that.
Yeah. Yeah. So like I started searching for things, and I don't know. I don't know. And then, like I said, I keep going back to it. It just wasn't fun anymore for me, for a bunch of different reasons. And then I looked to the point where I was like, well, what do I want to do? Like, do I want to open a franchise of karate schools? Do I want to continue doing this? Can I, maybe, Lauren and I were super close there for a while as well. Can I help her out with her production company?
What
am I going to do?
Lauren Carney, yeah.
Yeah, sorry, with Tournament News there online. Yeah. But it just wasn't, I was coming home from training crying. Like, that's how it's just not fun anymore.
Yep.
So yeah, and then this whole policing thing that like the career shift just sort of fell in my lap and happened, and I rolled with it. And
tell me how that happened. Was that something that you planned on? Was it something that you always kind of thought about? How did that come about?
Well, it was around that whole time where I'm like, it's kind of like searching, like, what am I doing? Like, what do I want with my life? And when competing stopped being fun, I was like, well, what else do I like doing? It's, physical, you're helping people. And we have we have a few parents at the karate school that are also police officers. Got talking to them. They're like, oh, you should really do it. And I was like, there's no way. Like, I'll never be able to. And then like the stars aligned, and all of a sudden here I am. So yeah, awesome. It just sort of happened. I can't really. It's not something I expected, to be honest.
How many years now?
Almost 4. So still pretty new.
That's crazy.
But see, that's kind of funny to me, and we'll keep going with it. I don't want to sidetrack it too much. That you would say, I'll never be able to do that.
Yeah.
Jeff, does that sound funny to you to hear that?
Yeah.
Like,
of course.
For her to say, for Chelsey to say, I'll never be able to do that.
I know.
Like, that sounds funny to me.
Right.
To hear that.
It is.
Well, there's a lot of things. Right. Yeah. Spin kicks, never be able to do that. The splits, never be able to do that.
I actually have heard her say that before. Yeah. And I remember telling me about, the things that it takes to get to where she is now, and just how hard it was and for you and the change, so.
Yeah. Like I said, I don't want to like dampen the mood or anything like that, but
this is your story. We're just living in it.
That's right.
So I had a and this is straight honest with you guys. Like, not a lot of people know this. Like, Lauren knows it, Carney, because like she was my other half, really. But I went through like a really hard time, like a big struggle. After a couple like losses, because some of them I couldn't get over. And I spent so much time trying to prove to everyone else that I'm the best fighter in the world. And these are the reasons why. And I started listing out like my own reasons. You know what I mean? Like, I was just so like, I want everyone to think that, and I want there to be no question. But there's always questions, and there's always comparisons. And, you're always going to get compared to, somebody like Nikki Lee, who she was one of my idols. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's crazy.
Yeah. But then you'll never fight her, though. You know what I mean?
No, I know. And that's part of the thing that, like, not that I struggled with, but, like, I'm also like, well, these are all the reasons why, and trying to,
How about this? I got a question quick.
Mm-hmm.
When you said, I was trying to prove to everybody, I was trying to tell everybody, no, I am the best fighter in the world, and here's why. Did you believe you were the best fighter in the world?
I don't want to sound like arrogant, but yes, like that's 100%.
Yeah. I did.
Yeah.
Jeff, did you?
Me too. Oh yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Like we opened up the show saying no one's ever done what you've done.
That's right.
And it's been years between now and the last time you did it. There's been ample opportunity for people to do that.
Right.
And it still hasn't been done. Not to say that it never will, because things like this happen.
No, that's always.
But
and
I still want you to keep going. But I have a question, because there's a couple of nuggets that you dropped. It just makes me curious about.
Mm-hmm.
When you said things like, I never got closure, and I really never got a chance to tell my story. Do you believe that your story with martial arts or competitive martial arts, do you believe that's done? Or is that door slightly open?
Maybe in some capacity in the future, maybe. What that capacity is, whether it's coaching or co-organizing a tournament, I don't know.
Sure.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Competing.
How about this? Yeah, competing. What about that?
Competing. Sorry. For me, like, you guys don't understand how much of like a head mental case I am. For me, I don't at this moment think that there is a way for me to reach the same level of competition or reach the same expectations that I have for myself, which are pretty high.
Right.
To be able to compete with the results that I want.
And I understand that. I mean, for me, really thinking about this, like, I don't really know of anyone else that just kind of stopped like you did, like at the top. Really the person I can think of was like John Valera. As far as he just stopped and that was it. He never came back.
But he announced it. He announced he was done. That was
true.
different.
True. That is true. That is different. But Chelsey just stopped.
Away,
You're right. You're right. We knew
he was going to walk away.
Right.
And tomorrow was going to look different.
Well, it's because we're forms guys.
Like,
we got to make a big deal. We got to retire 7 times.
I have my feet in both ponds there. So
no, but that's what I'm saying. It's a difference in a forms person and a fighter. But with fighters, a lot of times they kind of fade out, or they keep going, or whatever. There's not too many. I don't know.
How about this, Jeff?
I don't know how it did.
Some of them come back after a year, right?
Right.
So I'm asking you this, Jeff. I mean, she's right here. It's not like we're not talking to her.
Yeah. No.
Did you think that within the first couple years that Chelsey stopped competing, did you think, she'll probably come back? Did you think that?
I guess for me, knowing Chelsey and how much she thinks about it and how the struggle, I could just tell, all right, she needs to get away completely for a while. I just knew that.
So you have an insider's perspective.
Right. Again, Chelsey, when I first met her, she was Trevor's younger sister at Super Grand Savannah, Georgia, who was her and I think Nico, which was...
What year was this?
2000. Nico, which is Mike Conroy's son, and a couple other kids were just running in my room and doing all this and that and being annoying, So that's the Chelsey I remember.
Being annoying. It's true.
It's true. She, I remember everyone be like, Chelsey's, I think she's going to compete this year. Because I think you'd been to Super Grands before and you didn't compete growing up. You were just, because her dad used to do the awards at Super Grands every year for a long time. And so they were always there. Now, Trevor competed all the time. And that was Chelsey's little sister. Trevor's little sister. So, yeah, I'm not sure, Chelsey, if that might have been your first one you competed at. I'm not sure.
I don't know. I'm sure I don't know.
Who knows? Who knows?
Yeah, who knows?
But I mean, I just remember then once you started getting a little older, then you really got into it more.
Oh, yeah.
And that was something I wanted to ask you as well as we move forward. What, as far as competing as a junior, what was it as far as a junior fighter that kind of pushed you to realize, because there is a big difference. You see so many great junior fighters that don't take the step up, that don't follow. And what made you follow and go from probably one of the best junior female fighters to the best female fighter?
I want to hear this.
I honestly just think it was the lifestyle. Like, my brother,
right?
He's my best friend. He's my idol. Like, he is my go-to, so having him and being able to travel with him and have him coach me, that is just a bond that between coach and student and brother and sister, it's just a bond that like you can't explain, and like there's no other feeling like
talk about that a little bit more, because I've mentioned it. Trevor's been a mentioned on the show a few times, all right? So, and I've mentioned as well, like when I go to events now, I don't just watch fighters, I watch everyone. I watch coaches a lot. I watch people that aren't really coaches but are teammates, and I watch what they say. I watch body language. I watch managers from teams. You know, just I try to be like the Terminator. I'm like and just analyzing everything. And it was always interesting to me watching Trevor coach you. And I didn't. We're not like super tight, but you know, we're cool enough. Trevor and I, but I have not really seen him coach that many people. So I've seen him coach you. So it just seems very different, the way he coaches you and the way he coaches other people. But tell me a little bit about that. How did you feel when he coached you? Was that just another day, or what is that like?
That is unequivocally, whatever the word is, it's so real and it is so pure, and you have no doubt in your mind that that person wants the best for you, you know? Not to give anything away from like coaches, because coaches, they don't train with you every day.
Right.
They're part of maybe your extended family, but they're not like your family, you know? Like this person knows you inside and out. You know, it's probably changed my diapers. I don't know. But it's just so pure and so natural, and so that feeling of just 100% support. Like I can't explain it. Like it's I'll give you a quick story about him coaching me. It's kind of funny.
We love stories here.
Yeah, I think it was 2008 because I was 18. This was the Canadian Open.
That was like your first year as an adult, right?
Yeah.
Like full year as an adult.
Full year as an adult, yeah. Canadian Open. That year, Trevor and I won both our weight divisions, the overall and the open weight.
Right.
Anyway, so I was fighting on stage, and Trevor was fighting on the opposite side. So we were both fighting at the same time, and I could hear him coaching me as he's fighting, yelling at me.
That's what I'm talking about.
He's yelling out, and I'll never forget it. He's like, "Throw the axe kick." So I was like, "Oh, all right." And I did, and I got 2 points, and I was like, "All right." And then I'm like, where did that come from? And I talked to him afterwards, and somebody told me like he was fighting, yelling at me while we're both fighting, coaching me still.
That's pretty awesome. That's cool.
Yeah.
That's a great story.
It's funny.
I've seen him do things like that. Never, ever have I ever seen that.
Right?
Yeah.
Right.
I seen him do a controversial thing one time where he was coaching Shane Baker in team fights against Paul Mitchell, while Trevor was on Paul Mitchell.
Right.
Oh my God.
And I'm thinking, wait a minute.
Yeah.
I feel like there's a conflict of interest here.
That happened with me a bunch as a junior. It's okay. Because Shane and I were in the same division. It was okay, though. It was all right.
That's the thing. That's my brother. He doesn't follow rules. I don't know. I follow rules, not him.
Yeah, not at all. Trevor, and I think I mentioned it before, I think one of our earlier ones was he is one of my favorite coaches. And he's coached me a few times, but it's just me like from the outside looking in, just how, and I think to some people, I don't know, maybe they don't think of him that way. I don't know why, but I mean, just look at what he's produced. How many great fighters from the schools, how many great just competitors overall. It's pretty awesome, you know, just what Team United has done. So that's why, you know, a lot of times I have a lot of Team United people and Canadians on my competitor of the week, but it's pretty cool to see. So
yeah, thanks. I'll let them know.
Yeah.
So Chelsey, so a lot of what you've just mentioned so far is Chelsea's last competition days right after.
Yeah, I do want to say one more thing about that, if that's cool.
Go. Go.
Yeah. Just about the whole like closure thing, right? You guys actually, so going back a little bit, why I reached out to you was because you brought up the Louisa fight. At the Irish Open.
Right.
I brought that up,
Yeah, that's ×2 I lost to her in the overall finals.
Yeah.
There.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
it's like, but that specific one, the second one that you brought up, like I am still not over that.
Why do you think that is? Why do you think that is? And which part? Is it any moment of the fight, or is it the last exchange? What is it that you're not over with that?
I think it's everything, you know? It's being like,
it was a well fought fight.
Right.
You know what?
It was amazing.
It wasn't like super flashy and exciting. It was no Raymond Daniels fight. But
it was pretty exciting.
Technicality wise and just like like I can't even explain that either, you know, like just watching her and it's like we're both counter, like I want to be 3 steps ahead of you and like what it's insane. The technicality of that fight was really good, but
and that's what made it so exciting for me to watch. Is somebody has no stake in the game really, is I'm watching 2 fighters who aren't making mistakes. Nobody's like blowing anything,
right?
Yet, and we're in this amazing match where stuff is happening, and so that's what it looked like. Nobody just like laid an egg.
Yeah, until the very last point, I laid an egg.
And it was just out of position.
Right.
Oh God.
But that's what it gets when it's like that. You know what I mean? When at that high level with those 2 people that really. Probably if we had this interview with her, she would probably say a lot of the same things that you say about how hard she took it and how this and that, you know? And I mean, that's what it takes. I mean,
I want to mention something about that real quick, and it may give you a feeling one way or the other. It was so interesting. So that year, I've known Gregorio DeLeo for years, right? I've known him. He's known him well. We talked to each other that brief little stint he had when he was in the States. Okay. But that year he and we just really got to talking, mainly because one of his guys swept me and I don't mean by the spread. I mean, I ended up on my back because I got swept because I was a kicker and I'm like, well, kill you.
And it's Gregorio, King Sweeper. Yeah.
Right.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. So we just get to talking and we just became pretty good friends. But you watched his reaction after that win. Okay, fast forward to 2015. Louisa wins gold in 2 weight categories. Loses her first fight in open weight.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't. That stuff happens. And when I talked to him about that, and I go, it was on Sunday at the Irish Open, and I'm like, yo, where's Louisa? And he's like, oh, yeah, she's done. And I'm like, what are you talking about?
What?
And he said that. He goes, yeah, in this great Sicilian accent that I can't do even though I'm Italian. And he's like, yeah, she wins 2 golds, loses her first fight. Oh, well, and walks away. And I was just like amazed by how comfortable he was because it was just a process, you know?
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay.
I think that speaks to the caliber of Wako, though.
Right.
That somebody like her, who is phenomenal, can lose their first fight.
Yeah.
That just speaks to the level of quality that Wako has, in my opinion. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you think the quality in Wako is better than everywhere else?
Alex, I saw your face before you asked me that question. You're like, should I ask?
Yeah.
I will say that Wako was my favorite to compete in.
Awesome.
I'll say that.
That's cool.
I'll tell you, I think for the women, Wako's the best.
Yeah, I think so.
And it's the deepest.
Definitely the deepest, yeah.
It's the deepest. Well, we're gonna get into more of that as well. Yeah. But tell me more. I want to hear the Chelsey Nash story, like not post competition, during. What is it like for you? Because you started saying, oh, it just wasn't fun anymore. And I've had close friends of mine who said the same thing, that I've had to talk off ledges that really got emotional and tear jerking as well.
Yeah.
But tell me what was fun, and then was there a turning point where you were like, what the heck is this?
I think any competitor would say the competition was fun, right? Winning money was fun.
Especially when you're young, right?
Yeah, well, that's it, right? Like when you're young, you're hungry. I'm like, when I'm 18, my first year competing in NASCAR, I won 7 of 11 overalls that I went to. I went to 11 tournaments. I won 7 overalls. At 18, you're hungry. You want it, you know?
Right.
And then, so, I mean, all that stuff was fun. Growing, learning, traveling, competing in different circuits, you know, meeting new people, getting different opportunities. Like, all of that was fun, you know? It's every person who's in our shoes, that's our dream, you know?
Right.
That's what we want. And
but you were the one living it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it doesn't make sense,
I
right?
didn't live that dream. Jeff, did you live that dream?
Not like that. No.
I never lived that dream.
And then, like I said, I think I took a couple losses really hard. The Irish Open twice being one of them, namely the second one. And then when I went to Russia for the World Combat Games, that whole process, the way, I'm just going to leave that part alone because I don't want to get into that. But it was just me and Lauren there, really. Okay? Like, my brother didn't come.
You didn't have your support group.
I didn't have anybody there. But I don't think that was the problem. The problem was that it was a 2-year thing, right? So you had to qualify for your country. Then you had to qualify for us, it was North, South, and Central America.
So
and
Brazil,
then after qualifying there, that was Brazil. Then from there, go over to Russia with the other 7. So there was 8 of us. And then the first round, I drew Gloria from Italy. And I was like, all right, like, I'm feeling okay. I've only fought her once before. What was that, the WACO Championships for the final? I'm like, I won, so it's going to be a good fight, but, like, I'm feeling pretty good. Like, I got this. And I spent 2 years dedicating everything I did in those 2 years to that tournament. And I think that was a big pitfall for me and a mistake because I put so much pressure on this one tournament.
Yeah.
And that was me searching for something, right? Because this was the time when I started searching for something to keep me into it. Anyways, I had to lose 17 pounds because it was a weight class below me. That wasn't fun.
I don't weight cut.
No. So 17 pounds. I put so much time and effort. I was going in at night. I was training by myself. I was doing 3-a-days. I put so much pressure, and then I got in the ring, and I just froze. And that is the worst feeling. And I lost, I think, by like 1 point or 2 points. I don't remember now. But Lauren can tell you, I didn't talk to anybody after that. And this is stuff like even my family doesn't know. Like, this is me being like real with you guys right now.
Awesome.
Yeah. I left. I took off my stuff. I went and found a closet in the arena, shut the door in the closet, and it was just dark, and I think I just cried. And I'm gonna get emotional now because, like, it's still raw, you know?
Right.
You can put yourself back into those moments and still feel like that emotion. So I took that really hard, and at that point, for me, that was my final reach. You know, that was my purpose for still doing the competition side.
Yep.
And after that, you know, I was upset at my brother. I was like, you weren't here for me. You started blaming other people. And it wasn't his fault. It was nobody's fault. It was mine.
Right.
yeah, and I don't know. After that, it just wasn't the same. And if you talk to Lauren, I'm sure she would tell you the same thing.
Yeah.
It's obviously I've just never really gotten over those things, and that's kind of what I mean by it just wasn't fun anymore for me.
What about the day to day when you went to let's just say NASCAR tournaments? When you would do the day to day there, after a while, was that still fun?
The relationships were fun. Like Nicole, I had an awesome relationship with her. Natalia, Jen, like the relationships within the karate community were fun.
I'm going to touch on that later, by the way.
Yeah, that part was fun. And I think, I don't know, it's hard to answer that because I'm emotional. And
yeah,
right. Yeah.
So when I first watched Chelsey competing, I didn't watch you in 2000. Didn't know you then. I watched a fight. I think it was you were in the 16-17 division, and I didn't even know who I was watching, really, to be honest with you. And I'm watching. I think it was for first place in 2007, and I think you lost, right?
Was it to Marissa? Because that's usually who I lost to in juniors.
I'm not even sure. Maybe
that's what I was going to say too. Yeah, who was the toughest one in juniors?
Okay.
Probably was Marissa.
Right? And I just 100%. Because I remember I saw the United, right? And I'm like, oh, okay. And then 2008 hits, and it was like, whoop, right?
Yeah.
And you win everything,
right?
All right.
Yeah.
And you win the whole year. You win the ring. You win the diamond ring, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's the first time we met, right? And then you just keep winning the next year, the next year, the next year, and it just is like, this is, and it felt like it got to the point when Chelsey Nash was in the building. Everybody else was trying to see, all right, who is she going to face in the final? It was like an unspoken thing, but it's like, all right, it's going to be Chelsey and who else?
And then who else? Yeah.
And it's a little bit like this, and maybe we'll touch on this as well. So at the Diamonds this year, I see Morgan, and she tells me she can't fight. And my whole world is messed up.
That's right.
Because I'm like, Jeff and I predicted her to win the ring. We literally had a conversation. We're like, I mean,
who's she going to go against? Yeah.
Come on. Yeah. We literally, we said, like, who's she going to go against? We didn't even bother even predicting because we're like, well, what's the end result going to be anyway? And when she told me she couldn't fight, I'm like, what? This changes everything.
Yeah.
And that's a little bit of what it felt like when Chelsey Nash would enter the ring, right? And there's been other competitors like that.
Yeah. To me, it was Nikki and her are the most like that. Like,
oh, yeah.
Because Nikki was always that way with the diamond. And I think in the NBL, Regina was like that for a long time. You know, wherever she went, you know, she was just a step ahead of everybody. So I think those are ones like that. You know,
I want to throw Claire's name in there too. I think Claire was great.
Claire is awesome. We I think when I was on CTE, we were talking our top 5, and all of a sudden I'm like, guys, you know who we're forgetting, and all of us say Claire at the same time, and it was really funny how because again, she beat Regina a bunch. She beat several people a bunch. She, you know, and we had this conversation on maybe just her style. Yep. So yes, she beat Chelsey. Sorry.
Oh yeah.
Just for those that are listening and don't, you know, see our facial expressions.
They're great facial expressions.
They're great. Yeah. But yeah, so who were the fighters that you competed against that drove you to be your best as a junior moving up? Who was it that you always wanted to compete against? Who was it that you always wanted to beat? Those kind of things. So
junior Marissa, hands down. Right. She kicked my butt for a couple years.
Yeah.
And my brother just kept, so like literally my whole training was around beating her. Like literally, you know, like every day, Trevor, like, what are we doing today to beat Marissa? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's good. That's smart training. That's really smart. But
So
then,
her for
ironically,
sure.
you guys would end up being teammates on Straight Up.
Yeah.
So actually, I would credit Marissa because I was a kicker and she was a better kicker than me, so I had to change.
Yeah.
So that's how I became a puncher. Is because
So
I couldn't beat her with my kick.
Because you were so successful, it's Marissa's fault that you were so successful.
100%.
Right. That's funny. Well, I compare that a lot to like Ryan Huntley and Ray McDaniels, because we had talked about this before. Ryan Huntley beat Ray McDaniels like 13 times in a row and all this and that. And then his last year as a junior, he beat like everybody in teams. And then guess what? He never lost to Ryan again. You know, and it was like that when they moved to adult. And it's very similar with Marissa and you. Marissa might have beaten you. I'm not sure or not.
Never
I don't
as
think
an
so
adult.
as an adult. So, yeah, I mean,
No.
that's what I mean. It's almost mirrors each other exactly. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah. So yeah, thanks, Marissa.
But that's wild to say, because when you fight that long for that amount of time, you've fought in almost everybody. You will take losses over the years to some people where you're like, whether it's in an open weight or it's in a team or a division or a runoff, whatever it may be, you'll take losses to people sometimes that it will be there. They'll never forget. They were like, I beat so-and-so.
Yeah,
and it just happens when you fight that amount of times, you fight that much, you're bound to lose.
Oh, yeah.
But for you to say, no. Never.
Yeah.
What?
Well,
No, they still like you. That's possible.
But that was Chelsea's adult run. You know what I mean? Like that's
right.
That's where she took
early
the next
adult
step.
run. Yeah.
Yeah.
Early, because then, you know, as you get on, right, Claire would be the next one, because she beat me the first couple times. I beat her a couple times, but definitely the first couple times I was like, God, I can't get around this freaking leg. Like,
right.
Stop kicking me in the head. Obviously Morgan, like that's a giver for sure. And then after Morgan, I would say like the European. I did struggle a bit with a couple of the European girls. So
what did you struggle about with that? Just curious, because you've done a decent amount of Waco events.
Yeah.
What did you struggle with?
You know what? In my opinion, with NASCA, it was first to 5 or first to 7, depending. NBL, it's 1 2-minute round. With Waco, it's, 2 and sometimes 3 rounds.
Yeah, when you're doing for Worlds, that's right.
Yeah,
Endurance.
so they're in a position where they have to adapt. And they can figure it out. So for me, I think maybe technique-wise, maybe not quite as strong in some, not all, obviously, but they're smart, and their timing and their distancing and like throwing the right technique was just like impeccable to me.
Right.
And they're in a position where they're fighting the same person, so it's sink or swim, right? Like, you got 3 rounds to figure this person out. And if you're losing after that first round, you have to adapt or you're going to lose. Where NASCA, it can be over in 30 seconds.
30 seconds.
Or, you don't have time to adapt.
Especially at that time when you're competing. They hadn't implemented the really go 2 minutes and the spread and all that. So I think in the middle of your run.
The 7.
Yeah, so I think that would be my answer for that, is just I think that they're more adaptable, and that was my struggle with them, because then they would adapt, and then I'd be like, well, now what am I going to do? So you got to figure it out, right?
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
That's good. Well,
now, you did something that I don't think had ever been done before, right? When you won 2 Waco divisions,
in the same year. Oh, okay, yeah.
Or was that Irish Open? Which one was that you did? I think you did both, actually. But
Irish, I think I won both weight divisions, and then I made it to the final. But obviously.
Right, yeah.
No. So I won NBL, Waco, and NASCA in the same year.
Right.
I thought that's what you were talking about.
Yeah. Well, there's that, yeah. And I'm trying to remember the last time you went to Waco. I don't remember if they let you do 2 weight classes or not, but I guess they don't. But I remember it was just a big deal for you winning all those titles in that year. Just how much. I remember you telling me and that like the Europeans there were telling you you were the best. You were the best fighter. And hearing that from them was a big deal for you. Like I remember
definitely.
you telling me that and it's like, wow, okay. Like I'm doing something big. So pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
So let's touch a little bit. So you mentioned, so I feel like as we're talking, like it feels like you're starting to feel better about this.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, because a lot of like you asked and everybody asks, and then people speculate on things like, is she coming back? Is she not coming back? And you know, there's definitely parts of me that want to, but then you know, realistically, like with my job, like working shift work, and is it worth it to get hurt? And then how much more emotional am I going to be if I go and I don't have the results I want?
Mm-hmm.
I think the fact that you can stay away sometimes is commendable. I mentioned this. So
it's hard. Yeah.
Well, I don't doubt that. So I've talked to Travis, even though he's kind of in the background. I talked to him like sometimes, and Jeff knows this. Just like we did today, like before we start the show, we'll just kind of banter a little bit, and I asked him like, "How do you stay retired?
Right?
How do you go to a tournament and not want to fight?" And he can turn it off. He's like, "Because I'm done." I'm like, "What do you mean?"
Yeah.
Like, don't you go there thinking, I'll whoop you?
Yeah.
Right? He's like, well, sometimes. And for me, like, I wasn't going to fight at the Diamonds this year. And I didn't feel like, I know I didn't look good. I didn't look good. So if there's any video out there, anybody who watched it, just delete it. All right? Because it wasn't great.
Oh, my God.
All right? I lost to Jason Borelli in overtime. Okay, there's nothing bad about that. It was a winnable fight. I had it, didn't have it, whatever. Over. I lost it. All right? But I literally was like, I had to be talked into fighting because I really wanted to, but my shoulder, because from surgery the year prior, that time hurt for a week and a half after the Diamonds, right? And I'm like, this feels like it just fell off of my body, right? And I still wanted to fight. With Jeff and I've talked about one of our first episodes where I competed. I had a fractured foot. I did 6 divisions on a fractured foot. Jeff did, I think he did 64 divisions.
No, not that many.
Maybe and 10. He won a jet rocket. And
shut up!
Oh my God!
Now what did he? He won a motorcycle. He won a motorcycle. That's not an exaggeration. He actually won
I did. Yeah, I did.
Yeah. Chelsey, you ever win a motorcycle?
No, but I'll come back if they're gonna start giving those out.
That's right.
There we go,
That's
guys.
Right. That's right. Give them
motorcycles. Yeah.
Oh man.
But when you so it feels to me like now that we're talking about this, you're starting to feel better about where you're at and what you did and what you were doing.
Accomplished. Yeah.
I just hope
mention a few things. Go ahead.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. I was just gonna say, like, I just hope now it gives more like clarity and understanding, I guess.
Right. Did you feel judged?
I don't know. Maybe I never really thought about that. I felt like I let people down, maybe.
Yeah. I remember you telling me that before.
Down.
That it was down, and I was like, come on, stop that, Chelsey. But yeah, I mean, well, and I think some of that comes from, again, being in martial arts forever, your whole life. And, you know, that's what you felt like you were expected to do, and you're expected to win and this and that. And I don't think that was probably the case, but that's how you felt, right? So,
yeah.
So,
everybody knows this is a good buddy of mine, and was a teammate of yours. It was Greg Betlock, right? I talked about last week. Remember, Greg? Remember when I beat you last? Remember when I talked about how I beat you? I beat you.
I beat you.
We're
Greg.
just joking. We're just jokes, right? That happened, but whatever. All right. Literally, it was like the funnest times where he and I just going back and forth with each other, just jabber jostling. But when you guys were teammates at one point, I don't think I'm shedding light to something that people don't know that much, but he wasn't happy.
Mm-hmm.
Right? He didn't want to quit the team. He wanted to quit martial arts.
Mm-hmm.
He wanted to quit it. And it really took he and I just talking about what is it that he likes for him to realize, like, no, he just wasn't having a good time. He would go there and he would spend money, because it doesn't matter whether you're getting paid, you're still spending money, right?
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
right.
You're spending money, you're away from work, you had to get paid time off, and then you're going, and it's just not an enjoyable experience. Why are we going through this if you're not having fun? So after talking about it, it was just a little bit of how he was treated, and a little bit of just the environment. So I said, all right, if you quit the team, what would you do? He says, man, I just go to tournaments anyway. I said, this doesn't make sense to me. Someone's offering to pay you to do that you would do anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So there you go.
He says, I guess if you put it like that. I say, yeah, I put it like that.
Yeah.
so
right.
But there was another point, and I won't bring up what the loss was. He took a loss where I'm really glad I was there with him, and then he and I talked, and it was for an overall, and we talked afterwards, and he was not okay, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we really talked over and over. And he got beat, and he talked about how he's letting people down, this, that, and the other. Now, I said, Greg, I would have given a lot to got whooped in that overall, all right? Newsflash, it was Raymond Daniels, all right? So, but hey, I've been there. When you catch Ray on stage, that's another animal, right?
Right.
So, and I said, dude, I would have loved to have had that happen, because you got an opportunity there, and it was just things where so much we put this as our identity as to who we are, and the more I hear you talking about, because we never talked about this, right? I really feel like that's where you were, and you realized that's only going to let you down at some point.
Mm-hmm.
And when you had this identity of who you were, I'm Chelsey freaking Nash, right? And when you realize that can be taken away like that, like, and I don't, maybe I'm putting words in your mouth, I have no idea, that you're like, this is not what I thought it was. This needs to change.
Yep.
Jeff and I talked about this a few weeks back when I was feeling like that, and a doctor told me, we're going to cut off your right leg. And they were going to amputate my leg. Yeah, you didn't know that, did you, Jeff, before I said that?
What?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. You can go back and look at the episode. We'll figure out which one it was. But long story short, I had a blood infection in my leg, and it was climbing all the way up. And they said, okay, we're going to cut you off above the knee. Yeah. And
well, thank God
saved me.
Yeah.
God saved me, and he saved my leg. And there's no reason why he should have or needed to, but that's what happened.
That's what happened.
Yeah. Wow, that is scary.
Very prideful about who I was and what I was doing and how good. I didn't think there was 3 people in the world who were better kickers than me. I did not think that, right? I say 3 people because I knew 2 people who were, and one of them was your brother. And the other one, I would either go in overtime with, or he would spread me. Newsflash, that's Jason Borelli. All right? I did not think there was 3 people in the world better kickers than me. And I would openly say that. I'm like, no, I'm what it is. And my kicking leg is what God was going to take away from me. That for real.
Right.
Yeah, that's devastating. Yeah.
Oh, heck yeah. And my whole world was blown up, right? So this stuff happens to us as athletes. It happens to us.
Mm-hmm.
But I still feel, what do you think, Jeff? I still feel like at one point, Chelsey Nash is going to fight in the tournament again.
Yes, I think so. I think, I don't know if, it's up to her, and I think she needs to. I think it'll be fun, but it has to be.
I don't think she needs to.
No.
You do whatever you want.
No. Yes, agreed.
I think she will.
When I say need to, I don't think she needs to prove anything to anybody. It's just for her to do and to do it without the pressure that she puts herself. Now she may figure out, hey, this is just how I do it, but hey, that's what happens. See, when I'm hearing this, her story, I feel a lot of similarities with me, but far as my promoter journey. And we've kind of talked about that and touched on it, and maybe I'll present that one day. But I was the same way with that. Like, I have to save this. I have to be the person that does this, and I got to be the one to do this for my generation, all this and this and that, all the pressure put on myself. And so I totally get what Chelsea's saying. And for me, competition was like my savior to where I can go out and like, I'm going to go compete and have fun. Mm-hmm. And then, hey, I also think that I also take it very seriously too, though. So when I do it, so it's a different, maybe we'll get in that story one day, one episode. Mm-hmm. But I totally relate with what Chelsea is saying with that, just in a different part of my martial arts journey. So it's really
Chelsea,
cool
I don't want you to feel like you didn't get a chance to tell your story in any way.
No,
I want to make sure you say everything you want to say.
That's you guys nailed it.
But you nailed it. It's your
story.
Yeah,
you nailed it. Yeah, you did awesome.
I don't want to stop, but 6 a.m. comes fast.
Yes. Understand.
So let's do this. I got a couple questions for you.
And then
Hey?
Yeah.
Yeah, all right.
So right now we've been talking about, who's dominating, who's good. Chelsey Nash. Yeah. Who's the best fighter in the world right now? Women. Who's the best fighter in the world?
Oh God, that's a tough one because there's so many good ones. Can I have like a 3-way tie?
Sure. Why not?
Yeah.
3? Yeah. Let's hear them.
Yeah. Morgan.
Yep.
Louisa and Evelyn.
Evelyn.
Yeah.
All right.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Jeff, what do you have? What do you think?
I would say Morgan, Evelyn, and I'm not sure on my third. I've seen more of Katana, but than the others, so I'm not sure. So that's hard for me to say as on another one with the other fighters, but definitely Morgan and Evelyn to me are the top two right now.
Yeah, I think I think, and Chelsea, let me know what you think. I think Bev Stuziger, am I saying it right?
Yeah, she's awesome.
I think she has gotten robbed a number of times.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, I'll agree with that. I've actually never had the chance to fight her, but yeah, always nervous too.
I feel like she should have a couple of recent Irish Open overall wins. She really should.
Right.
Yeah, she's great.
It was taken from her a couple times. That's not taking anything away from anyone who won. I don't think she made it to the final, right?
Right.
So, which was a little messed up. So, for me, it's Morgan and Bev, and it's right there. It's Morgan and Bev.
I like it. And Bev has beaten Morgan as well. So, yeah.
I think. Yeah.
At Bristol, she beat her.
Correct.
So, yep. Awesome.
So,
last question, Alex.
Yeah.
I got no more questions. I got no more questions for the champ. But let's do this. We have more of the show. We have our competitors of the week.
Yes.
Right?
And
let's get into them.
I think Chelsea
are you
has
guys
to go.
Yeah,
you're good.
That's
fine, Chelsea. Thank you so much for
thank
coming
you guys
on
so much
and being a part of it. And thank you for sharing because it was really cool. And we hope to talk soon and maybe have you back on again.
Yeah, definitely. Thanks, guys.
And we'll
miss
see
you both lots.
Yes,
we'll see you fighting at the Grand Slam Open.
Yeah,
motorcycles.
One day. That's right.
That's all I'm gonna say.
There you go.
All right.
Jeff.
Motorcycles.
All right, there we go.
Motorcycle.
That's right.
Be there.
That's right.
All right.
Awesome.
Bye, guys.
See you, Chelsea.
Bye, Chelsea.
Bye.
Well, all right.
That was awesome. That was pretty cool.
It was great. Awesome, man.
Let's just jump right into it.
Yep.
Let's rapid fire this thing. Let's do our competitors of the week. You want to go first or you want me to take it?
I'll go first. And, one is someone that, again, another top 5 women's fighter of all time, Regina Thompson. And, we mentioned her earlier, and she was just someone who So, all right, in the NBL, they do a good job at saying keeping a record of who has won, all the titles and stuff, right? And the most world titles and everything else. So the top two are Colby Northcutt and Sage Northcutt, because they did every single division, and they did it for a long time, and they won a bunch. And number 3 was Regina Thompson. So when you're talking about someone who has as many titles as people that do 10 divisions, and she does 3 divisions at most every year, that's pretty awesome. You know what I'm saying? So when you can be that consistent, so that's something that always, I think, puts her, just her consistency from juniors all the way up to seniors. And you can see Regina push people. I think, was it 2 years ago at WKC tryouts, right? Or maybe it was the day after that at Richard's tournament. Her and Gina
Great
Thornton.
Lakes Pro-Am.
Right. And Gina Thornton just had a great fight, and she stepped it up. And this was right after they had their fight in my tournament before that, where
what year was this?
Gina, thinking 17.
Got it. So not long ago.
No, not long ago. So where she had lost to Gina, and Gina hadn't beaten Regina that much. And just for her to change something, no matter what. And she's had so many injuries, all kinds of different things. And you know what? Like, she is one of the smartest fighters I've ever seen and ever talked to. And she's another one I put up there with Trevor as one of the best, like, player coaches. Like, someone who is a top fighter, but also one of the best coaches. And I put Regina up there with that. So one of my favorites, one of my favorite people in sport karate, like a sister to me. So I just love to give more praise to her, man. She's awesome, and hope everyone checks out some fights on YouTube.
Yeah, Regina, what's interesting, before the Hayabusa experience, I never really talked to her.
Really? Oh, yeah.
So my only experience with her was just watching her in the ring. Right? Yeah. Totally different personality.
Right.
Man, she is fun.
Yeah.
Right? She is hilarious. Right? I hang out with Regina Thompson anytime. And by the way, when Regina and Willie when they do their live commentating when they're at finals for a tournament, that's the best thing ever. Right. That's like my favorite part of the tournament. Right?
That was pretty awesome. Yeah, that was great.
Yes. Both of them need to be at another tournament and go Facebook Live again, because that was awesome.
Yes. They love those guys. Regina, again, I think they're just her consistency and just the way that she does things. You know what I mean? Like, you can tell watching her how smart of a fighter she is.
You're absolutely right.
And I think that's why people put her up there, So, who's yours this week?
My competitor of the week is Matt Emig. Awesome. Matt Emig is, I'm going to get into a lot of it, but Matt Emig is someone that we've seen for 2 decades now. I mean, we've been watching almost that.
Yeah, and so 95, I believe, maybe 96.
That's when you started watching Matt Emig?
I think 96 was the first time he made the stage. I remember seeing him I think it was 96, Empires, when he started competing nationally. So, yep.
And I think I saw him for the first time, it was 2000. Okay. And he was on Team Karate Cares.
Yes. Yeah. From New York. Yeah. He's from New York, so.
Yeah, there was a few people on the team. It was Jeff, tell me, was that a Forms team? What was that?
Yeah, I guess so. In some ways,
there's only 3 people I remember on it. Was him, Ryan Pinkston, and Anthony Atkins.
There were several others. Aaron Pinkston was on there. There's some other ones, but they're big ones. They're big ones. Were those guys? I think Jessen Noviello was actually.
Jessen Noviello was on there.
Yeah. There were some other ones, but. Yeah, man. Say why he's your competitor.
So Matt So outside of being the greatest nunchuck competitor in sport karate I think there's ever been,
Right.
He's the cleanest tricker I've ever seen.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And
Style
the trick itself is clean, right? But when he would land, like even when he would do his form, like the stances, I really don't think anybody beat in extreme forms. Nobody did extreme forms and had better stances than Matt Emick, which was always the knock on people doing extreme forms, right? And they would see him and be like, but like, back knee washed in a little bit, so we're gonna knock you down 5 points. Like what? But you could never say that with Matt because he was that clean. And like exactly what you were saying, like the style of it, like if there was a tricking battle today, right? Yeah, and then you said Matt Emick won the tricking battle. You'd be like, what? But it wouldn't surprise you that much. Like it's that possible. Like,
that's why he's still a big name in the tricking community. They want him there. They will have set battles just to see him because he's that good. He released a video like last week just of him and Rudy just working some basic weapon stuff, and it was just fun. It was good to see.
I saw that.
Me pumped
that
up.
was pretty cool.
Yeah, and so like Matt's just the man. Matt could. I'm for sure, 100% sure that Matt could come back and win most of the tournaments. Yeah, now. So that's just the type of competitor he is. And, he's a man. I've known him since he was a kid. And I guess he's like 4 years younger than me, maybe 5. And so, yeah, man, just got nothing but respect for him. When we were finally able to compete against each other, it was really cool. Really cool thing for us, and just for us to just go out and have fun and different styles against each other. But dude, Matt Emming's just one of the best. Again, I think it's weird. It's not weird, but he's one of. And most people right now would probably put him their favorite, which I think I usually put him as my favorite, like forms competitor. But then they don't put him in the weapons, where they put him top 5 weapons, but. I don't know. I mean, it's weird to me that I don't know. To me, he's one of the best weapons competitors ever, and he's one of the best all around creative forms and weapons competitors there is. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like being able to do
he's not
the best
exclusive.
of both. Yeah, not exclusive.
Exactly.
So, yeah. So I mean, he's
and he did team forms, and I know you love team forms. He did team forms with Daniel Sterling.
And honestly, that was one of my favorite team forms ever. I think I mentioned that.
You did mention
him and Sterling. I think a lot of it was their style, and it was really cool. Him and Rudy. Was it Rudy? No. Steven and Rudy had a really good team form. I like that one. I don't remember who else Matt had a team form with. I thought he did later on, but he ended up having several of his teams do team forms, like
that's exactly it. He had Team Emick.
Mackenzie and Tyler and Aiden and Danny, so it was pretty cool.
He's influenced a lot of sport karate right now.
He's amazing, man.
But I got to tell you what
doing
he did
big
for me.
things over in Hollywood, so as well.
That's exactly what I was going to get into.
Yep.
This is a true story. This happened. We're at the Diamond Nationals. My wife is. We're at an exclusive-ish after party, and she's bored because I'm talking to a bunch of karate people. Because to her, it's the same conversation I have with everybody. Even if it's not, right? Yeah. But to her, it's all the same thing. So I see that she's starting to get disinterested in, like, what are we doing here? So I see Matt Emick, and so I said, hey, Matt, meet my wife, Lindsay. And I introduce him as a Ninja Turtle. And she goes, what? And she goes, like, no, really. He played one of the Ninja Turtles, and he also played Splinter in the movie.
Yeah.
Coolest guy in the room. She was like, I need to talk to Master Splinter right now. Right? And
that's awesome.
He was like the coolest. Like, they literally talked for 15 minutes or so. And that sparked her up. Now she was like, all right, this is a great night. I got to talk to Master Splinter.
So, that's great. That's great.
Matt, you raised my cool points, like 10 more, just from that conversation. So thank you.
Yeah, a lot of my sport karate friends do that for me with my students, so it's always good.
Cool,
oh,
right?
Yeah, I know that guy. And then when you're like, yeah, that guy's my instructor. Oh, yeah, cool. Works pretty good. All right, let's get into. So I think this topic, the should it stay or should it go, was one thing from that CTE talked about, and you and I have talked about it as well a little bit. But
there's about sponsorships.
Yeah.
So the sponsorships, I've mentioned before. Right. I think we do backwards, and I think what we do with it, we don't do enough of. So
correct.
I think we do it backwards in the sense to where if somebody says, Alex Dingman, I want you a part of my team. Jeff Doss, I want you a part of my team. I'll pay you to do this, this, that, and the other. What they're really doing is they're paying a grown man's bills, right? On the other hand, you're like, what do I want to go and do that for your team if you're not going to pay me for it? Totally get it. And that's also because of the culture. However, I really feel like we should be sponsoring juniors. That is who needs it. So what do we do with does the sponsorship go? Does it stay? How does it adjust? And I really feel like this is something that needs a lot more dialogue. So if you, let's say there's, a 13-year-old who is competing, and let's say because they're going to do all these divisions because you want to make it worth your while as long as you're at the tournament. So you're not just going to fight, all right? You're going to fight and like, well, let's at least find one form division you can do and see if there's something else you can do. We're flying all this way. We're spending all this money. At least give yourself another chance to do something. That's a lot of the And so then once you do one form, like if you're just there and you're going to do you're a bow form competitor, you're like, well, let's try and do a musical form too. You know, what else can you do? You know, see if we can get multiple things that we're here for. You know, you don't just go in there for a minute and a half and then you're done for performing a whole weekend for a minute and a half. That doesn't make sense, right? So that's why they do as many as they can. They're the most expensive person there. Let's say a division. Let's say they only do one division, right? What do you do? $75. Let's just say 75. Let's say 75. Okay, because it gets more. All right.
Yeah.
Let's say that's all they're spending. All right. Plane ticket. Okay. $300. Okay. Only it's not $300. It's $900. All right. Because it's not just the kid. It's the kid plus the parents.
Yeah.
Oh, but now they got to stay somewhere.
Right.
So now the hotel. Let's say it's $200 a night, which is after taxes.
Yeah, that happens. Right? Yeah. Taxes, so now, hotel taxes are the worst, man.
Right, because it's no rhyme or reason. It's just cause. But whatever, okay, you're gonna pay.
Right.
So now we're talking, okay, minimum $400. Okay. So now you're another $400 on top of that. Now you got to eat something, and it's never just one person. No. Whatever you do, it's times 3. So then you're doing that. All right. Then you got to get to and from the hotel. There's not always a shuttle, and when you have that much that you're going on at one time, you can't just fit in a shuttle. Sometimes you got to get your own taxi. You might have to rent your own car.
If
it's further away. Now you're tacking that on for a 13-year-old to do a karate tournament.
Right. Well,
they are the person.
So you're not even talking about if they have siblings. You know what I'm saying? Like, and you're bringing them along, or you're like, all right, which my mom and I had to do several times, was pay for someone to keep my brother to stay the weekend somewhere or whatnot, while we went to this one because we couldn't afford the plane ticket for him to come as well. You know, there's a lot of things like that.
Yep.
So yeah, I mean, it's not just
So they're the person. Like, throw that family a bone. They need that, right? And so we've talked about this often. Like, let's acknowledge some of the juniors. That's a way to do it. Don't give them a grand championship because it's not grand, right? And they're really not champions, right? Do that now. So do you agree with me, or am I crazy?
No, I mean, I was one of those juniors that was able to get that, and even then, still, it cost a lot.
I know of.
That's true.
I should say that.
So it's
I don't know the
weird for
details
me.
of every team.
Yeah, I don't know the details of each one, But I think it's almost better to sponsor a junior team and then have maybe 3 people that are adults, or like adult team of 5, like keep it exclusive, and the junior team be bigger, right? But even then, that's a lot. So I think the reason why the juniors don't get as much because of what you just said, they cost more. But
if all you're gonna pay, I guarantee you, and you know this would be true. Mm-hmm. If you tell a family that was gonna go to a tournament anyway, like I'd love for your son or daughter to be a part of my team, I will pay all their entry fees.
Yeah.
Would they do it? Would they stay involved? Would they do that? Heck yeah. Because now they feel appreciated. Now they feel a sense of loyalty to them.
And also in this day and time with social media, they're going to be the one that actually spreads the word more about your sponsor.
Yeah.
Do this or that. Because I know that's how I was. I mean, all right, yes, Team Elite and Team CJB were both built on amazing fires and everything else. But you're pretty darn sure that everyone knew that I was on the team. You know what I mean? Because I cared about it. I went around and was telling everyone, like it was just like I really appreciated it. And some of the juniors that kind of like Spencer, the sponsor, felt like didn't really appreciate it. They didn't last very long, And I just think that's if you really appreciate it and you really are thankful for it, I mean, it's going to help the sponsor in the long run because you are happy doing what you do with their uniform and their brand on you. And so things are more positive than the other way around, so.
Well, I also got this thing. Let's look at this. Chris mentioned this on the CTE. He mentioned and I fully agree.
Oh yeah, me too.
I subscribe to the same thing. He's like, as far as gear, because now we're going to go into who's sponsoring what. He goes, I would love to just wear Macho foot pads, Warrior foot pads. That's my favorite. I'll wear a top 10 glove, a SAP glove, ASG, whatever. But for foot pads, no, that's my jam. All right.
Yeah. Right.
And I actually, everything he was talking about, what he would prefer, I would prefer too. It's totally mismatched. Right. But
yeah, same here to me. I'm the same way.
But here's the thing. It does look funny when, we want you to wear our stuff when you're at the tournament. Not any other time.
Right.
All right? We just want you, when you show up here, this is when we want you to wear our stuff. Doesn't that seem backwards too? If you're sponsoring me, this is not the only time I do martial arts.
Right.
All right? Let's just say this other person. All right? I feel like picking someone. Let's just, you know what? Yeah, let's pick someone. Let's pick Tyreek. Okay? Let's pick Tyreek Singh. Out of nowhere. I just picked somebody who's really good that everybody knows. Okay? If, let's say, Sap. Okay? Just because I know he's not wearing that. All right? Let's say Sap decides, Tyreek, we want to sponsor you. We're going to outfit you in everything SAP. We're going to send you SAP gear. We want you to wear SAP every single time you fight. When you're in the school, we want you to wear SAP. We're going to make sure that you're always wearing it. So we're going to make sure that you are outfitted. You're never going to have to buy another piece of equipment. You're never going to have to buy another uniform. You're never going to have to buy it because we're going to outfit you. That is going to do a lot more. All right. So what happens is we go with, well, what's the minimum? Let's give that. All right. Well, why would you be surprised if people don't wear your stuff if you don't give them your stuff?
Right.
So this happened to me one time where I blew my foot pad out. I was on Hayabusa. Foot pad, the little toe thing, bang, blew out. It's the week before we're going to the Irish Open. And I'm like, I got no foot pads.
Yeah.
But I sold Warrior foot pads in the school.
Yeah.
So what did I do? I created Hayabusa foot pads. I printed out Hayabusa stickers. This is a true story.
Yeah.
Sam Gagnon was pissed. But I was like, hey, I solved the problem. And I put Hayabusa stickers on anywhere it said Macho. So I created Hayabusa.
That's cool. There you go.
But what do you think about that? About outfitting people? Do you think that's too much? Do you think that's crazy? Do you think
that's how it is in every other sport or everything else? So why isn't it that way? I'll say this, and I don't know if I mentioned this or not before, but I think the biggest thing that they talked about was the same sponsor sponsoring several different teams. And yeah, okay, Adidas, say Adidas sponsors the NFL, but they sponsor the league and then the teams around it. That's different than a team that does other leagues. You know what I mean? So that, I think, has hurt some of the teams from being more consistent and things like that in certain ways.
Why would that doesn't have anything to do with it?
You don't think so? So
no,
why did all right, now, okay, so again, when I started proper, I'm just going to say this, we did 5 tournaments. Most of us got a certain amount of sponsorship, right? And we actually had more people on the team. Once ASG came on, we did less tournaments and less people got sponsored. So that was that. Now maybe the sponsorship went more towards those people, and that's fine. That may have been how it was, but that's just what I'm saying. And Proper had their own line of gear, their own line of clothing and different things.
Proper had the coolest looking stuff.
Right, and they had a sponsor called Illust, which was from California, that had their own thing and had certain stuff.
I remember
that was done that way. That kind of all went away as ASG came in because they were going to focus on that. So all I'm saying was just that was different. That changed how that looked. So now you have a sponsorship. One company is sponsoring several different ones and saying, all right, you're getting this, 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 and this. Instead of maybe one team saying, hey, we're going to make this all one team.
That's thinking small.
Maybe. No. And I get that. I get that as a sponsor. You need to be in other areas. I would say get teams in other leagues, get teams in other spots instead of all the same area.
That's actually true.
Why don't you sponsor a Mexican team? Why don't you sponsor a Canadian team, a European team, that kind of thing? Because then you're really getting into areas that they don't have,
Yeah. So someone needs to hire us as consultants.
That's the way I'm saying. I know I went a roundabout way of saying it, but
but how about this one?
What Chris and Travis said, they're not wrong about how it's kind of all divided now,
Yes, but two things can be true. It can be divided like that, but at the same time, just because I'm your sponsor and I say, all right, now I'm only going to give you $5,000, you figure out what you're going to do with that. Right. That doesn't mean you cut your team. How many sponsorships does Team Paul Mitchell have? They have multiple sponsorships. Well, they don't just get it. They don't get it from John Paul.
Correct.
So why does it have to look exclusively to one thing like that?
No, sport karate should look like NASCAR, really.
Bingo.
I mean, they should. So
how about this? I'll tell you. If the last few years, I was fully sponsored. Mm-hmm. And I'm nobody of note. Did I ever make a finals, really? Maybe one, not big, all right? Mm-hmm. Well, I was nobody of note, all right? Fully sponsored. Yeah, if anybody wants to know how, message me privately. I'll tell you how to do that. If you want to figure out how to be fully sponsored, not have to worry about this, message me. I'll coach you through it. It's not hard, right? But when you said sport karate should look like NASCAR, absolutely, right? Yeah. What drives me crazy about college sports is that the superstar athlete, that's what they are, right, are some of the most iconic and marketable athletes in the country, and they can't sign a signature and get $1.
Yep. It's crazy. It's insane.
But why can't we do things like that?
Right.
Why do we just have to, we look at it and we get tunnel visioned where, no, this is my sponsor, this is my team, which is fine. All right. Why does that competitor need only one sponsorship? Why can't they get sponsorships from a couple different people?
That part doesn't make sense. Yeah, exactly.
The one thing I vehemently disagree with, though, is if I'm sponsored by Team ABC and they say, all right, well, we're going to do 6 tournaments this year. But if I'm at a different tournament, right, that nobody from Team ABC is at, why do I have to still wear Team ABC stuff? That's not okay. We're going to pay you X amount of dollars for X amount of work.
Yeah.
It's basically for work, right? We're going to pay you this much money for this much work. But if you'll wear our uniform while you're doing this work, that's what you're going to pay us back with. Okay.
Yep.
So, but when I'm somewhere else, you still get the benefit of me doing that. Not okay.
No.
Like if I decide to do that out of the goodness of my heart, or that's just something I want to do because I I love this uniform, that could just be a byproduct. That could just happen. Yeah. But if I want to wear whatever I want, like if you really want me, why would you not pay me? I don't know what world does it exist where you can expect that someone will do something for you with you not paying them.
Paying them, yeah.
What world are we in?
No, I get it. I totally get it, and because I mean it's just exactly what you said. I mean, I couldn't even say it in a better way. It's true. I mean, and again, if you are going to, that's why in some ways it's better to do like what you said. Go out and get your own sponsors, and do it that way, Then you don't feel like this or that. It's weird the way that we look at teams as a sponsorship instead of a team. A team is what it is. It's like its own entity. And a lot of times the team is the sponsorship, and that's a whole different kind of thing.
And what is the purpose of the sponsorship? Sometimes there isn't one. Sometimes it's just, here. I had someone tell me, he goes, hey, man, I'll give you uniform and entry fees. And my response was, I already have a uniform.
Yeah.
I'd rather enjoy this one.
Right.
Right? The entry fees, I mean, if I get the early bird discount, what are we talking? $50?
Yeah.
Why would I sell why would I sell who I am my whole weekend for $50?
Yep.
And just like we just got done talking about when Chelsey was on. It's not fun. If it's not fun and I just sold myself for $50.
Correct.
What was the point? And sometimes those uniforms are not that great. Right?
No.
I don't enjoy wearing the ASG uniform. Have you ever put one on?
Yes.
I don't hate it. I don't hate it at all.
I had the proper one was, I had 2 of those and I wore those several times.
I don't hate it,
but
it's just not my favorite. There's a few of them that are not my favorites. All right.
They're for me, they're too long, so I don't like that. So, but I don't mind the tops sometimes, but I'm still, again, a bow look guy, but that was what we always did. When everyone else was doing rec suits, CJB and Team Elite stuck with the plain bow look uniform with awesome screen printing or embroidery. That was how we.
That was your favorite? So that was your jam?
Yeah, I mean, it was just classic to me, and I like it. At the school, I mean, I don't know if you saw the video of me fighting the other day. My black bolo pants and blue bolo top, man. I mean, that's just what I wear all the time. I love it. It's comfortable, and I like tucking in my we had a conversation about this last week too. Tucking in like a pullover uniform into my pants, and that's
like a rec suit.
Now, yes, exactly. Now I think that not a rec suit, like a bow look uniform. Now you don't just leave that hanging out and put your belt over top. Sorry, it doesn't look.
Yeah, you hate that.
Oh, it's the worst thing ever. We
should have a list.
When kids
top 10 things
do
Jeff
that,
hates.
when kids do that at the karate school, and then also when they have their shirt hanging out over their gi and then put their belt over top it, I hate that too. And I'm like, what? No, what are you thinking? No, So yeah, those 2 things.
What else does Jeff hate? Do you like it when they tie their belt and it's not one solid belt in the back, It's kind of like staggered. Do you hate
that? So I hate that, and I hate it when I see black belts wear it, because in the way I was brought up, so we start all the belts that way, and then when you get to green, it becomes 1. And
I'm only saying this because I knew you would probably hate this.
Yeah. So
but keep going.
So we actually have a reason why, in a mind of like, okay, it's crossed, and then when you get to the green, because you're kind of in that middle level, and you're about to move up to the advanced level where your mind and body become 1. And that's kind of the idea, is like, all right, now your mind and body are becoming 1. So you start making your belt 1 loop. And we do that. So it's weird to me when I see like high level WKF Japanese Okinawan competitors have your belt like that. I mean, okay, that's the way you grew up, but it's still, I don't like that.
How do you feel when you see someone's belt on the floor?
Oh, shut up. Oh, man.
Literally right now, I'm just grasping for things I think you'll hate.
God, I hate that. I hate that. Dude.
I'm batting 1,000.
Where was it that this happened? Oh, man. Somebody did this, and I just was like, you better go tell your instructor. I'm going to go tell your instructor right now, and I hope he, like, just, gives you, like, 5 body punches or something, because that's ridiculous. He's like, what do you mean? I'm like, you don't do that stuff. Like, what are you thinking? Like, I just remember being pissed seeing it. I forgot who it was, too. It was a high-level competitor, too. It was kind of funny.
How do you feel when someone just drops their weapon on the floor and just throws it on the floor?
You mean like they're chilling, they're just like, throw them like that? Yeah, I just think that's rude. That's just rude, Like, it's rude. That's rude. Because, see, where I still have tournaments that are in the gym, and then the rule is if you drop your weapon or if you purposely strike your weapon to the floor, you are DQ'd, things like that, and then their ruling of it is the high school just redid the floors this week or this year.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, so that's just always funny how, okay, it's okay for you if you drop a wooden weapon, but a sword is not okay. Like weird rules like that, yeah. Just weird stuff like that. I've seen that happen, so yeah.
So the last, like, however many minutes, I was just trying to poke the bear. That's really all I was doing.
I know.
It was thoroughly entertaining.
There's probably more ways to do it too. So yeah.
Oh, I'll come up with some more.
We can get into the the whole stupid intro thing with the clapping and all the dumb stuff. I think we've talked about that.
Yes.
Oh my God! And everyone going.
You like that too?
Oh my God! Die, please, die, an awful death. Die. Just someone like music guys, like everyone here we go. Everyone making the music. So Osborne, right? I know he does it, and several others do it. Adam Kiefer. Let's change it up. So I know these people are asking you for certain things, but just say no. Just say, you know what? I got this cool idea for something different, and just and let the one person who's maybe like a big time person do it, I don't know. I mean, honestly, one thing I do like about Jackson is that he will do some random music.
He did Queen.
And I loved it. Yeah, I love that. And that's what I like. I mean, for me, when I first started doing the intergalactic thing, every tournament I had a different.
That was dope.
I had a different intro music every tournament. And you know how hard that was back then? I had the little mini disc player, and I had to like edit it and play it with a tape player and all that. Oh man, that was really hard.
Yes, I remember.
And
that.
So yeah, I mean, I used to walk into "I Missed the Bus" by Chris Cross, and
oh my gosh, I remember that song.
Yeah, and "Nothing But a G Thing," and a lot of just fun stuff like that. So
right.
We can get into cool intros sometime.
We'll talk about music another time because that is a big topic that definitely needs to be discussed.
Oh yeah.
But
this was fun.
This was a great show that we had.
All right, so let's review over Chelsey's thing. So she really told us some things that no one has ever heard before. She really dug deep on just maybe the side that we don't see of competitors. And what I was going to tell her was, it really reminds me of the book Relentless. I don't know if you've heard that book or read that book, but I suggest a lot of people to. It is about the strength and conditioning coach of Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, Dwayne Wade, and he's just a big time speaker now and everything. And it's about just what it takes to be relentless and what it takes to be the best at something. And that is that kind of, to where when you are the best in just everything you live, breathe, sleep is that, it's hard to go back to that unless it's that way. You know what I mean? And I think this really, kind of pertains to that. And so she went to another area, and another area of her life, and is enjoying that. And we will see if there's another way for her to.
We'll see her again.
Get back.
That's gonna
yeah.
happen.
Oh yeah.
We're gonna see.
Of course.
Yeah. Nobody. You and I don't doubt it.
No.
But I'll tell you, I don't think it should ever be like that. I don't think anybody should ever just say, "This is my life. This is my world. This is the only thing." That will eventually come crashing down in a horrible way.
Oh, it does.
Right?
It does.
It really was that way. It was almost that way for me, And with this life is gonna be a blip, man.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh yeah.
Our souls are eternal, and we are going somewhere, and it doesn't really matter what we're doing here. This is going to go like that. All right. There's only one person, all right, that is here that can really answer any of that, and that's Jesus Christ.
Right.
But if y'all want to know a little bit more about that, you guys can message me about that too.
Yes, you can message me as well. So, yep. So, love it, man. Great episode. Super excited for our next one. And listen to this. If you're probably listening, it's Wednesday when you're listening to this. And you will see us tomorrow night, Point Fighter Live. And we are excited to host the 60th anniversary show. And
That's
be able
right.
to really talk about Alex Reyes and get to interview, and we get to interview Cam. So excited for that.
Yeah.
So
his first ever big interview. Apparently he's turned down a bunch of interviews.
Right. So it's gonna be fun.
Must be something special about the inside scoop.
That's right.
All
right, man.
Has been another episode of Inside Scoop with Alex and Jeff. I am Alex Dingman.
I'm Jeff Doss. Have a great night, guys.